Here's the fact, guys. Get ready. When you become the real you, not everybody's gonna like you. And I think that's what drives people to be something other than themselves. They just want to be liked. I think it's a natural inclination. And trust me, I've been an online public figure for 16 years. Everybody ain't gonna like you. You're gonna get some people that not only won't like you, they will tell you how much they don't like you. And that's okay. Like, I've been called every name in the book of, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm good with that. Like, if I'm not your cup of tea, go to somebody else that is. If you want somebody to be a little more of an asshole, there's plenty of them out there. Go follow them. Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. And if you like me, you like me, and great. If you don't like me, move on, and no harm, no foul.
It's such an odd place to get to that. So I was definitely a people pleaser as I grew up, and I, depending on who I was around, would try to fit in their box of what I was supposed to look like. And I think a big example of this is I had zero desire to go to college, zero. But it was something that I was in the top of my class, and pretty much everybody just expected me to go because I had good grades, but I didn't want to go to college. But I did because everybody expected me to. And what happened? Year and a half in, I was like, meh, I don't like this. And I quit. So what was the point anyway? And I have accepted that that year and a half taught me something. There was a lesson learned in there, but I wasn't being the real me, and I wasted a year and a half of my life. I don't know. Wasted is a tough word. Like, that's, I don't know, that's a strong word, but
Invested in the future you.
yes, yes. And I do find value in the time that I was in college and what I learned there. I do find value in it, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
And we circling back to what I teach with my kids, I have been accused so many times within my family of, oh, this is just another new thing that Brittany does. No, this is just another new thing that Brittany's trying to create and see, oh, is this it? Oh, is this it? Is this the thing? And I love being an eclectic person and have the abilities to do a lot of things good instead of one thing amazing. Like, I like, if you have a question about a computer, I could probably figure it out. If you got a question about something else, I can probably figure it out. I was going to help my sister yesterday with probability and statistics homework. Like I can do that, and I like, that is the real me. I like a little bit of everything, and I can talk about a little bit of everything.
And you like to therapy people. That's another thing you're good at.
Yes.
I could go down the list of all the things you're good at, but yeah, you're really good at all of those things. And it's wonderful. By the way, when you said you were top of your class and you were forced to go to college, and that's when you found out you didn't really want to do that and found out the real you, it's funny you say that, because the valedictorian of my high school, she was captain of the cheerleader squad. She had the best GPA in the whole school, super smart. Like, we were all reading like one version of tech, and she was reading Les Miserables because she was so bored with what we were reading. And if you've never read Les Miserables, go read the book. It's really cool. But back then it was nerdy. Anyway, so she kind of had this raw vibe of nerdy but beautiful. And oh wow, she's going to do great. So she goes off to Vanderbilt University, a very prestigious university in Tennessee, and proceeds to drop out a year later. And everybody was shocked. And then she gets pregnant, and just things happen in her life. And it's like, we have these expectations of other people based on them not being who they really are. Like, she had captain of the cheerleader squad. She had full ride scholarship to Vandy. And it just wasn't who she wanted to be. And today she's an online marketing executive and thriving in her life, and has an adult child. And it's just all these things that we put on ourselves thinking they're the real us. And then we find out, when we stop playing the game, who the real us is. We find greater enjoyment in that real us rather than that fake version of ourselves.
Absolutely. And everybody watching, I want to tell you, not only give yourself the permission to be the real you, but freaking give other people the permission. I'm so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of people like, oh, you've changed. No, I haven't. This is the real me. If you cannot hold If you can't hold space for me the way I am right now in your life, that's okay with me. This is the real me. I love you, but if you need to keep distance from me because of some way that I am, I love you, but that's just going to be how it has to work. Like, please give people permission to be the real version of themselves. Please.
Why do we put people in boxes like that? Is it for our own comfort and maybe our own insecurity about being fake, that we don't like it when people are being real? Like, I get that a lot. People are like, you're way too, you express way too much online. It's too real. I'm like, what does too real mean? I'm
Wow.
like, I'm being Jimmy. Like, I can't tamper down. I guess I could tamper down who Jimmy is, but I won't. I refuse to be anything but 100% authentic. Like, I've lived a lot of my life not being my true self. I put on the face and put on the layers, like we've been talking about, pretty much most of my life. And I'm at the age now where I really don't want to do that. I don't have many more years left on this earth, enough, but not enough to go, well, I'll just keep hiding. I'll keep hiding. No, I want to live and thrive, and people that are my tribe will come to me. People who aren't can go away and do whatever they want to do, live their sheltered, mask-filled life. But I'm going to be me, and take me or leave me.
Nobody has enough time. Nobody has enough time to play that game. Like, we all, and I know last year was really a catalyst for me to become this version of myself. Last year, anybody else just feel like 2020 was a major catalyst, and I don't give a flying you know what anymore. Like, I just cannot care. I love you, but I cannot be anything but the real me. And I know 2021 shaping up to be the same way. I just cannot. I can't, and I won't. Like you said, I won't. I've craved real and authenticity for so long in my life, and this talk can go so deep within religion, within family construct, with all of that, with relationships with spouse, with relationships with children. Like, I have just blown the lid off of all of those and some more of, when it comes to religion. No, I'm going to be myself. I'm not fitting into a box. I have my own beliefs. I've developed my own things. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, we've got a whole episode we want to do down the road, all about all the kind of narratives of shaping you into who you should be, the kind of shoulding yourself based on religion kind of things. That's coming up a few months from now. We've got other things we want to talk about, but it's coming up. But yeah, so much of society wants you to conform, and conformity is the loss of self. And I don't want people to ever think that you have to be anything but exactly who you are. Be the real you. Be authentic to who you are, even if it comes with consequences. I know people write to me all the time. They're building a brand online. They've got a certain amount of following. And, if I say this, I'm going to make this people mad, and I'll lose followers. If I say this, I'll make people mad. You see my stuff. I don't care what I post, because it's what I feel. And my tribe sticks around. And I did lose some followers last year talking about things. But guess what? I got new tribe, and that tribe's still growing that like what I'm saying. So you're always going to have the ebb and flow. Stop living your life for other people and be authentic to exactly who you are. The real you. The real you is pretty cool.
And to that, like, even you and I, and this goes back to hey, let people be the real them. Even you and I butted heads on some of the things you posted last year. We even had tough conversations about things that were happening, but I respected that that's Jimmy's opinion on it. And hey, I'm going to share my opinion. There don't need to be any screaming or hollering or nothing like that, or cutting people out. Hey, this is what you believe. This is what I believe. Let's try to, I don't like the term agree to disagree. Let's agree to have different opinions. Disagree just feels like such a negative word, but I know where it comes from. And so like, be the real you and give the people in your life that you love permission to be that real version of themselves as well.
And honestly, they don't need your permission. They should just do it. Like on an individual basis, oh, we should give people permission to be who they are. No, they should just bleep be who they are. Like, I hope you guys are feeling this today. Like, this is such a ground floor foundational principle of what we talk about a lot on this show of if you can't be you, how do you expect all these other things that we talk about on this show to fall into place? Now, a lot of what you are is what we talked about last week with the Enneagram, but some of it is you are being influenced by the math. I guess, how do you help people recognize they're hiding under layers? Because if you're hiding under layers, maybe you're so deep in that layer, you don't even recognize, like you said earlier, people don't know who the real them is. So how do we kind of get into that? I can tell my story about how I did it. It was just methodical, little by little. I think you get this feeling when you're going through life that kind of makes you go, that ain't right. Like, I need to change things. I need to make a decision that's going to be a big decision. And then once that big decision happens, it feels like you just busted through a wall that you've had button heads with for years. And once you bust through that wall and you come out the other side, you're like, wow, Narnia looks cool.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. So last year, I've talked about 2020 and what it was for me. Obviously, everybody had a hell year last year. I don't know anybody that's like, yeah, 2020 was my year. I don't know anybody. But at the same time, last year was a monumental year for me. Taking into account everything that was happening and taking into the account that I almost died in January. I was bedridden until God, near almost April. I couldn't do anything. I was like, you know what? Brittany ain't playing this game anymore. Brittany don't want to live where she grew up. Brittany wants to get out of here. And Brittany did. And we bought a house. Yeah, it's not far from where I live, but I had a lot of family members upset. How dare you leave this? How dare you leave this comfortability? How do you, like, this is where I grew up. They almost took it as an offense thing of, what do you mean you don't want to grow up here? This is where I grew up. What's wrong with here? And it wasn't about anybody else. Like, listen, if you love where you live there. But I didn't. And I had to break free. And like, I walked into my new house like, someone just opened the door. And I'm not gonna lie, I went through like this existential crisis of, who the hell am I? I have no idea. I'm not in my comfort place. What is this?
That is a great point, that when you start becoming the real you, you're going to feel like you're being fake. Let me tell you, I felt that a lot as I've been doing this work on myself. When I started discovering who I am, it's a whole radically new person, maybe, than what you were before, because you've been hiding in that old hometown where you were abused sexually at 12 years old. Until you got out of that house, a lot of stuff happened right where you were. And it wasn't until you physically left the old you, and then you walked into the front door of this brand new house. It's a gorgeous house, by the way. I've been there. It's a nice neighborhood. The kids are going to love growing up there. But you walk into this door, and that's literally physically walking into the new you, the new life that you have. You now will have memories of where you are right now that you physically left. And I want people to have that as well. Like, when you leave the old version of yourself that's not the authentic real you, you're going to feel weird, but then you're kind of going to go, but I like this new version. You love that house. You got a friend's coffee little corner. You got the kids' little unlearning schooling thing. You got little play, and then you're in your podcast recording room and all the other work you're going to be working on in 2021. Like, this is the exciting part of finding out who the real you is.
Absolutely. And we didn't really talk about it yet. Maybe, I mean, we might miss the whole January talking about resolutions and the word of the year stuff, but my word of the year this year was fruition. And that's just what I feel like. I'm just walking into the real me, walking into authenticity, walking into all the dreams that I have planned for so long. And like, I'm at the point where this is the me, this is the real me. And Hope you like it. If not, I do. So that's all that matters, right?